Northeast, a couple of cities waking up to snow throughout the region this morning. But here's the thing. There are many signals that we have several different winter storms on the way this upcoming work week. Jane just broke down one of them. But the big question on everyone's mind is, all right, we've been talking about snow. Of course, yesterday the forecast for Boston was, 5 to 8 inches? In Boston, Logan itself, around 4-ish or so?
Yeah.
So it didn't quite, quote, live up to the hype. So with these next series of storms in the days ahead, will this live up to its hype?
Well, especially when you look at a graphic like this and you see about 66 million people could see at least a half a foot of snow. You know, when you get into these types of patterns, it's one storm after the next in a week's time. Yeah, there is some chatter how much cold air is going to be around. It's February. This is the storm track that could bring some big time snow. But the storm track is also really important, and the type of environment that we're in. The cold air, the dry air, it has been the winner so far this winter season, but the dry air has really cut away at those totals.
Yeah, and not just that, but you also think about when the moisture does move in, how warm, what type of warmth or what type of environment does it move into? Do we see more sleet? Sleet, of course, knocks down your snowfall totals as well. Do you see more ice pellets in here? It's a big, huge, what I like to consider a cornucopia of things that you have to be mindful of. Next week, as we head through the week, we have 1, 2, 3, and then into next weekend, another storm system that's on the way could bring some heavy snow to parts of the Northeast and New England.
And remember, this is a model output. And one thing about models, and one thing that we have seen this winter season, is that they've done a really poor job handling cold air. And so I think a lot of them have been running hot because they expect that because we have the cold air in place that we're going to see this big dump of snow. To be perfectly honest with you, I think the hype for the snow is not going to live up to what we're expecting to see with each of these storms. Come Tuesday, through the middle of the week into next weekend, I think the main headline is probably going to be the icing threats, Michael, as you've pointed out, for so many Americans, especially in Pennsylvania, through the Alleghenies, the Appalachians over this past week. It's been a really slick and slippery drive. And while we have this kind of weather pattern that introduces some colder air and maybe that more U-shaped storm track, to me, it just signals you get those inland cutters. And for the 95 corridor, I think our hopes for snow trend significantly downward by the time we head into next weekend.
Yeah, you look at that dip in the jet stream, as you mentioned, and we literally have just a Congo line of storms that we're expecting to really form along that conveyor belt, if you will, of where our jet stream is at. So, yeah, multiple different elements of winter weather is what we're tracking.
I think to say it's not that it's not going to not snow. We are going to see snow probably across northern New England, parts of the Great Lakes, parts of the Midwest, but I don't think it's going to be anything abnormal per se, except maybe storm number 2. This is the only one that has me in its grips. Washington, D.C., we could see a decent storm out of this.